Welcome to Walk the Walk, where we go beyond talking the talk. I'm Scott McLarty, head of Providence High School in Burbank, California, and in this show, we talk out of school about growing up and being a grown-up, about learning and leading for a better world. Let's get into it. Welcome to Walk the Walk. I'm Scott McLarty, head of school at Providence High School. Last year, I started a weekly communication, Scott's 111, to share what's on my mind and to start conversations across our community so we can learn from each other. We hit pause in the spring as the calendar got crowded, bandwidth got thin. We've all been there. At our back to school Saturday, earlier this fall, I talked about compassion, one of our 5 values, and how it feels like it's in pretty short supply these days. I also talked about trust, how it can't be assumed, only built, and how it needs constant care if our community is going to thrive. Throughout the day, parents kept pulling me aside. Some said they were surprised to hear a head of school speak so directly about compassion and trust. Others just said, thank you. It mattered to hear that out loud. Those conversations reminded me why I started writing Scott's 111 last year, to create honest, meaningful conversations about things that matter. It became more than a newsletter. It became a rhythm of reflection, a way for our community to pause, to breathe, to think together. And now it's time for the next step. Walk the Walk is that next step. It carries the same heartbeat as 111, one big idea, one quick question, one straight answer. But now the conversation expands through weekly writing, this podcast, and even social media where I'll literally walk and talk through these ideas, sometimes with others. But the goal is the same, to build trust, deepen relationships, and wrestle with the questions that matter. But Walk the Walk is also more ambitious because the times call for it. When I first became head of school here in 2019, I shared a framework with our faculty and staff called VUCA. Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. It came from the U.S. Army War College in the late 1980s, you've probably heard of it, to describe the post-Cold War world. But a lot has happened since the fall of the Berlin Wall. The world hasn't stopped changing. Recently, a new acronym has entered the conversation. BANI. Brittle, anxious, nonlinear, incomprehensible. The idea isn't that we've moved neatly from one to the other as if history runs in a straight line. It's that VUCA no longer tells the whole story. It's not adequate to the task anymore. We're living in liminal times, in in-between times. The old order is fraying, the new one hasn't yet arrived. And here's the thing. These acronyms might describe the problem accurately. They might describe reality, but they don't tell us how to live in it. They're a diagnosis without a treatment plan. So if the world is VUCA and BANI, who do we choose to be? Because people of Providence learn deeply, lead bravely, and live purposefully, if the world is VUCA and BANI, what must we do? I'm proposing a series of responses that take the world as it is, not as we want it to be, and are actually helpful. Specific, actionable behaviors aligned with who we are as people of Providence. So, if the world is volatile, then we must ground ourselves. If the world is uncertain, then we must get curious. If the world is complex, then we must seek wisdom. If the world is ambiguous, then we must welcome paradox. If the world is brittle, then we must stay connected. If the world is anxious, then we must build resilience. If the world is nonlinear, then we must become agile. And if the world is incomprehensible, then we must embrace mystery. This is who we choose to be. It's who I choose to be. This could be our joyful response to the signs of our time. In the coming weeks, I'll explore each of these ideas, starting with what it means to ground ourselves when the world feels volatile. But for now, I'll leave you with this question. When the world feels volatile, as if the ground is shifting under you, what helps you stay grounded? Trust, connection, courage, friendship, something else? Send me your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening and for walking the walk with me. I'm Scott McLarty. See you next time. Thank you for joining me on Walk the Walk. Support us by following, subscribing, and learning more about what we're doing by checking out providencehigh.org. Thanks again, and see you next time.